That's a look, like skateboard, busted Vans, like an old band t-shirt.
Yep.
You
And
know,
a PBR in my back pocket.
PBR in your back pocket. That was a look. I mean, I'm thinking about like the different subcultures in Richmond, right? I remember noticing it when I was coming up because I lived in the county and not really much going on out there. Everybody's pretty regular in the county. When you come to the city, you know, I had my friends that would come and visit me in my first apartment. We were all kind of in the same lane, I guess. We came from the counties and now we live in the city. And I started to meet all these cool people that were in bands and all these people that were musicians or painters and artists. And a lot of them were like, to me at the time, were just weird. I just didn't get it. I didn't understand why they always looked so disheveled and why all they did was want to like ride a skateboard or their fixed gear bike and like go to the Camel. I didn't understand at all, but I was so fascinated by like this whole like subculture. It wasn't long until like I was in the middle of that subculture. I started bartending at the Border Chop House, which is now Bovine Burger. Used to be called Belly Timber. And I would go to shows at the Camel. I'd go to Strange Matter, which is now closed. Go and see my buddy Long John's DJing at a sushi bar called Nara, which is where City Dogs is in the Fan right now. Like I was completely absorbed by the Richmond vibe. And like, it was the best thing.
Yeah. I was right there with you. Right there with you. Like with maybe like a slight change, right? Like I never went to see like DJs or anything like that, but I'd always be going to hardcore shows. You know, we've mentioned Conditions, which they're not a hardcore band, but you know, it's like in that whole world, going to Alley Cats and going around to shows, going to shows at Strange Matter, going to the Camel, bouncing around, just landing on some person's couch and just crashing at some random house party on Clay Street. And, yeah, man, it's a weird thing to like think about because it's very nostalgic, you know, and you think about like some random basement shows and, you know, I'd drive around the city every day and for the life of me, I'm like, I don't even know where that was, you know?
Not a clue.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it if you tried.
Yeah. Like I remember there was these warehouse parties next to, I don't know if that Rite Aid is still there by VCU. If it is, like, that's crazy. But there's that Rite Aid right on Belvedere, across from where that Citgo or Exxon used to be, you know, right at the main intersection of Broad and Belvedere. And there's a Rite Aid there. And there's like this big warehouse and they would have these parties in there. And I did actually see a DJ there. And I remember because I was like drinking a Bud Light and the girl in front of me was just like dancing, going crazy. And I remember she like headbutted my beer bottle and it just went right into my face. And that was a crazy party because the cops showed up and this is an old like abandoned warehouse at the time. And everybody rushed into like this elevator, this old elevator shaft. And it wasn't even functional, right? It wasn't like an electronic elevator. This is like a cargo elevator, by rope and pulley. And it had a bunch of old cans of paint stacked in it. Okay. And like a dozen or 24 people slammed into this elevator. And dude, the whole thing just came untied and the entire elevator just flew down, right? Slammed down on the bottom floor and all this paint like exploded and went everywhere all over these people. So all over everyone in the elevator. I wasn't in the elevator, but I was coming down the stairs with my friends and we were right outside of it. And there's no door, there's no like opening. And all the paint went all over everybody. So that was like the christening of the party, you know, it was the end of it. But like, you knew who went to that party because later on it, like in the evening, you'd be at Sullivan's or something and whoever was covered in paint, you're like, oh, you were at the thing. And I had a jacket that had like paint splattered all over it. And I probably wore it for like a decade. And it was like cool. It was like a naturally designed denim jacket. I wore it forever and it had all these paint splatters all over it. But it was crazy.
It's badge of honor, man. That was the whole thing. And again, that's the charm of the city when you get like immersed into it and you do what the people in the city are doing and you get mixed up in it. cool stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
If you go with the flow.
It's so fun, man. That like inner chaos where you just hop in the back of somebody's pickup truck and you're like, I have no idea what we're doing, but like it's gonna be fun.